Hello, welcome to the stream. This is Will Forge. I am William, and today we will forge. So yesterday I didn't stream. This was kind of a last minute decision whenever I woke up, and it was nearly past my time to stream. My kids were already waking up, and I was like, man, I slept right through my alarms. That was because I was up till like 5 a.m. night before last. It was awful. I wasn't planning to stay up that late. And had I planned to, then it might not have been so awful. Anyway, we're coming along here. This giant bar here is something that matches a giant sort of measuring bar I have in Blender. So we've got that going across just to sort of give me like a triangulation. I made the this here, these stalagmites are arranged around this doorway in like one-to-one fashion. So then I have this inside of the stalagmite and I have it over there. Now this over here has been attempted to be one-to-one, that we've got this path and then it turns sharply, and then there would be the cave, like this sort of like little, not really a cave, more like a, I mean, the whole thing's a cave anyway, the like a little archway sort of covers that area up, and that would be where that where this is touching, but as it is on the 3D model in Blender. But what I've got over, like, basically I'm trying to triangulate to make sure that this terrain is all correct, which is just a giant, really a giant slope. It has a few subtle things, like it tilts down here and then it comes across to a sort of straight terrain piece and comes back up. But anyway, I think this piece, straight terrain piece, needs to come up a bit. Okay, trying to get the texture looking good, though, is always a bit of a challenge. It's looking good over there, and kind of looking good elsewhere. Like, it looks good right there and up there. Anyway, but that's where the darkness comes in. It's daytime right now, and looks better over here in the dark, getting the shadows. But yeah, so this side I'm gonna need to copy across to this side once I have the this original side done. But yes, it's all looking very fleshed out. Like, I could literally, I could start over there with a warthog and drive my way all the way around now through the entire cave, which would be pretty fun. As soon as I can go on a complete loop, I might actually do that just to get that, like, dopamine, I guess, of like, yes, look at how far it's come along. It's almost there. But anyway, the point is that this should this bar should pass to where the corner of the base, one corner of the base is here, and one corner of the base is roughly around on that side. So if I get the angle right, it should basically cross, across the front of the base, an angle like this to where it's facing toward the central bridge. So let's take a look at that in the 3D model. I did do a lot of stuff also to the stream itself while I was away. So, for example, I had gotten a lot of followers in the last stream, especially because Aaron had brought over people from Unique's chat, and so I could be like, I can actually hit one of these to make it replay. That's like getting that's as good as say whenever I get a follower. Let's see. So I can't wait to see some of those things happen now, because I didn't have any of that set up. There's literally, it wasn't even like the default zombie walking. It was terrible. I didn't have anything set up for that because I was on YouTube and I did not know that you could even set them up for YouTube. So I was like, ooh, that's cool. I should have had that already. But I didn't. But yeah. Let's see. We're gonna grab one of these. Maybe, yeah, I'll grab the big one. Why not? And then we're gonna turn it. Put it down here. because I need something here. Now, it might benefit me to, instead of using one of these pieces, use a different piece. And that might be true, but it is impossible to know until it's all, like, I mean, until I become a, you know, master at this new terrain, of these new terrain pieces and scaling them and all that kind of stuff. No one is yet, because no one has used this forge until now. Some people who, like I think Infinite Forges, like people in the Forge Council probably have a much more experience with these terrain pieces than anybody else will, because they had to build out their entire terrains with these, the same way we're doing now. Except, yeah. Anyway, the point is that if, you know, as I get better with them, I'm gonna put that back where that was because I was kind of smooth before, but now it's getting kind of not. So, oh geez. Apparently undo doesn't work on these. Let's get it a little bit more tilted that direction to get rid of that piece that was kind of poking up. And a little more like this, but let's see what the other side looks like. Okay, so we need it to kind of come out of this piece smoother. I feel like this piece right here is just not in a good cohesive place. So I'm going to deselect it and put the rest back into their prefab. Find out what's going on with this. Is there a way to smooth it out a bit? Not as it is. I'm gonna have to scale it in a bit so it doesn't poke out so much. Or scale it out. Yeah, I think I need to make it longer actually. So that whenever I tilt it, ooh, that's way too long. Look at that. Okay, there we go. So whenever I tilt it, it will get the effect that I need without poking up through the ground elsewhere. It doesn't make any sense to be this massively long. But whenever you start to learn the techniques, you can, by putting it all the way over there, I can rotate it this way without it poking out, because it's so far away that doesn't come out the other end. But anyway, I didn't end up having to rotate it that way all that much, and I still got it to line up there and line up over here. And the seam is basically non-existent. Initial pass. I do need to make this initial pass, and then eventually... Oh, hey, how are you? I'm pretty good. I don't know how I missed your, you saying it. I'm doing pretty good. I'm doing pretty good. Let's see. Here we go. From last time. There's yours. That was, that's where if you follow me, it's going to pop up, but I didn't have it set up until now. I've got everything is Sergeant Johnson. Everything is Sergeant Johnson. So every one of my, every time anyone does anything, that would be, yeah, it's all going to be a quote from Sergeant Johnson. And that is under the fair use thing, by the way. At least I'm fairly certain it is. Because it's just like the music, where they, oh, music! I was supposed to have that set up. I have it, I made a playlist to use, but I don't have it going yet right now. Maybe I should pause for a second and turn on some music for us to listen to while we go. The problem is that I don't know if it's going to stream, because I was going to fix that this morning. Whoops. Let's see if I can throw together some music real quick. I'll leave it on pause so there's actually something to see. Let's see now. Let's see, library. Okay, no, over here. What are we doing? Playlists. See, I don't have the stream set up to just play audio from the background, I don't think. But I can hit play all. That's very loud. There we go. That might work. Let me know if you can hear it, just in case I don't have to go through all the trouble. But I think I do have it muted for that kind of thing, and then I'm going to have to set it up special. Yeah, it's on desktop audio's layer, and the desktop audio layer is is muted because I didn't want to, let's see, I gotta do an audio layer over here, plus, and go, let's see, audio input capture, or audio output capture. Audio output capture. We're gonna do music. Sorry, this is riveting that off screen I'm setting up the stream a bit, but let's see. Let's see, what? Okay, I don't think it's, well, I'm sure you can hear it now, but this is going to play every single bit of audio that comes out of my speakers. So, that's not ideal, but we'll leave it like that for the current stream so I can get back to the actual build. There we go. Yeah. So, let's see what we got here. Okay. Alright. So used to that just methodic drumming in the background that it's now I'm going to get used to the music. Let's see, but I do want to go check out the 3D model, grab what we're doing next, and I also need to tab into edit mode so I can see those grid lines from the you know, vertices and the spline, the lines. What are they called? Why can't I think of it? It's edge, obviously. Yes, edges. There we go. Okay, now I need some. I honestly need some of these to be able to. I'm gonna end up selecting this cube. I'm gonna have to unbunch these, like ungroup these, and then select them all. Remove that, and I think, do I have all the pieces? There's 4. Yeah, I've got all the pieces. Oh yeah, I've got 4 selected at the bottom of the screen. That would have been easy to look at. Okay, here we go. So one of these is over here, and 3/4, I mean, Halo, Bungie, literally just copy and pasted them. So, and it was lined up, it's lined up with around here. The slope, that slope right there, where it gets a little bit higher in the background, that slope is where we're trying to line this up with. It's sort of like the hill comes down into this from there. So I'll deselect for now, and then we need 2 more. One of the small ones, which is only 3 pieces. And that will go in the front and actually be clipped into the ground to where I probably only need 2 of these pieces. And I'll need to scale them probably a bit, because even though, like I said, they're just copying and pasting in the original 3D map, I'm gonna tweak it a bit. That's rotation at my angles. And actually, this one that I copied seems to be one from before I tweaked it, you know, originally, because it was very unnatural how high that was, instead of being clipped down into there. And I'm going to fix up the distances between them in a second. Another one, but this one is actually unique. There aren't very many. It looks like they started from one of these big ones. Okay, because they even have the bump in the exact same place, of that kind of side bump there. And they very much have it out of the ground. But then they've got a second segment of pieces like this. They're sort of up top, and it sort of protrude very heavily from it. So I think I need to make this one flatter and protrude a little more. I can get the right angle. And scale this one down a lot on its own. Sort of give it conical design, because this is like the only stalagmite in the entire cave that's got an additional segment like this. Let's see, but yeah. Now, down here, these look pretty good. case anyone was worried about the way they looked from above. From a Banshee, that you'll be seeing them, but also it's going to be in shadow, so more like these. But we'll see if I need to make any adjustments to them to make them look even nicer. Still, in the meantime, I need to get their location correct. So, it's a stretched one. They stretched it out. It's the same shape, but turned around and then stretched out. I guess I can put, currently that playlist is just playing in order. Let me go ahead and hit random. That way we don't just have, you know, combat evolved. And I need to turn on loop. We don't just have combat evolved after combat evolved. Let's see. Scale that one. This is where scaling multiple objects at once would have been really nice as a tool. But such is life. Actually, that's probably not what I want to do. I want to scale it a little bit this way, and then a little bit that way, so I can kind of go angular. Okay. It's very sort of ovular. Oh. There we go. Selected the same one a second time. There we go. It's like the only one. This one might need to go a little more. This one needs to be. Maybe I did it wrong by doing two different directions. So that just made it more circular instead of ovular. There we go. That looks good. This piece is the weirdest looking piece out of the whole thing. It's probably because I scaled it down so much. It's not blending as much as it could. There we go. It's a little more vertical scaling. That should work. But also the bulge out on the side is a little much. There we go. Oh, right. There's that. I hid my chat for myself. Okay, so obviously save the map, and now we gotta go ahead and select everything and move it around until we find the right spot. Is it just me to do that one? Move whatever I selected, or rotate? I don't know. Very weird. Okay, so I think that we do need to rotate it a bit because the angle is slightly off. Yeah. A little bit like this. And then we want to move it up by a significant amount. Because if we go down to Master Chief Collection. Ooh. That's weird. Controls were not working for a second. Okay. Looking at it like this. And then looks like something like this. Now it looks like my hill over there kind of rises up where it's not supposed to. It's supposed to kind of go back down faster there. And I might need to put a different piece there because of that, because that looks like, yeah, I might need a bank. I'm actually kind of sad that there's a, so like, there's this bank over here, right? And I'm going to duplicate it and pull it out real quick just to show you. This bank, which is a nice piece. It really is. Here, it's probably going to work. But it's like, it's sloping at an angle, you know? It's one direction. But the point is that, the thing about it is, though, that it's, there's not a mirrored version of it. There's not an L and an R. And I was expecting there to be an L and R for pieces like this. And then I found out that there wasn't. I was like, well, that's not very helpful. Let's see. That audio is very loud to me. I really don't know what it sounds like on the stream side, so I'm gonna turn on my. Ooh, that's gonna pick up. It's gonna double up the audio of the stream. Okay. Hold on. I have an idea. Well, you just let me know if it's too loud, because I can adjust the sound down a little bit more like this. Let me know if it was too loud before, or if it's too loud now. Or if it's too quiet now, rather. Anyway, something like this would work out great, because it will fall off as you go. It'll gradually fall off, rather than having like a... You know, it'll be on a curve, rather than being the way it was, where I had the... I just wanted green. Let's see, so I want the curve there. And to clip it in, I'm going to have to scale it to right so it doesn't poke out too far off this side like that. But basically something like this would, or maybe one of the other ones, there's another hill that's also rounded like this. That might be perfect. That I actually already textured to be right for the floor. So I'm going to go grab that. Somewhere underneath the ground over here, I think. Yeah, there it is. Deselect it. Reselect it and drag it all the way over here. Copying, by the way, massive chunks of the map over like that. I wish I'd done it on stream because, I mean, I will eventually do the main bases on stream, so you'll get to see it. But you're limited to 155 or 150 objects selected at a time, and that's a lot more challenging than it sounds. You've got to do a bunch of stuff involving, like, I prefabbed everything into 149 number, like, object prefabs, just to make sure I didn't exceed 150 even with the prefabs, because I was worried that was going to break the entire map or like cause everything to bug out. And then I placed this here, magneted to the corner of this piece, and then I used it. I added it to the prefab and then copied the prefab. That's why it was 149, was so that it become 150 once this piece was added. Copied it, dragged it over here, rotated it around, and then removed it from the prefab, deselected the copied block like this, and then reselected it again so that it would be one of the ones with the magnets on it. Dragged it over here. This is hilarious. I did not plan for there to be light right here. And snapped it to this side of the bridge. And then that is how I got precision across the map. So that's how the dirt here lines up perfectly to go just underneath the lip of this, even though they're separate prefabs. And I did them as separate movements. With that sort of precision, I was able to accomplish a lot. So I don't know if this piece is going to work, because now I'm looking at it, I'm like, actually, is it going to, like, I need it the other way around. Oh wait, this one can. This one works because it can just be rotated, I think. Yeah. Oh, come on now. Rotate horizontally. There we go. If I just do this with this piece, and then I can grab it on the green. And this should do the trick, actually, to get me that shape I need. And do it a little bit better than that other piece I was using. Because it's going to let it fall off in the middle there and fall off rolling down the hill. So I just have to position it right. I've still got snapping on, which is great unless you're trying to do terrain. Terrain does not snap well at all, especially not to rotation. So I'm going to have to definitely blend something into it because of that little sharp edge. I'm going to finish this part in a minute. First, I'm going to finish up the what I was doing originally, which is these stalagmites, because they will help me determine where I want the slope to start and all that kind of stuff in a much better way. What happened to the music? What is it playing right now? Because I put together a playlist I thought was only going to be stuff that would be not... I don't have too many of the super slow songs, and for some reason this is just loading forever. I have no idea what's going on. I'm going to refresh it. I think the random broke or something. Oh, I hope I'm not losing connection to the internet for some reason. Because if I do that, if I lose connection to the internet, then the whole map will stop saving, and that's no good. I mean, you guys will be able to see me because sometimes I lose download speed, but not upload speed. So it works, like the internet works to an extent, but it doesn't really work. What is going on with that? It's just a YouTube playlist. It should be working just fine. Alright. I'm gonna see if I can randomly click. I'm just gonna click a different video and see if it was that video. It's mildly concerning. Because if I lose connection to the internet, like I said, the map will have trouble. Also, the stream would have to go down because I'd have to restart my internet just to get the download speed to fix. But we will see what happens. Now, I think I'm going to actually, like... Okay, so... got 3 of them. Let's walk between them. And see if they are like MCC. Definitely feel like it. And come down this way. And there we go. That could be higher. And tilted slightly differently. And apparently that back one could be taller. It's definitely too short. Okay. So then, which one am I trying to select here? There we go. Oh, I'm on it. That's weird. Okay, so here we go. Let me bring that back down, and I think that what I was detecting was that it was too short. Let's see. That should be, well, tall enough. I think, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to make one more. I'm going to put it inside of that one so that it looks more conical. I might do that for every single other one. Just copy this one piece and go add it to the others. Because I keep on looking at this and I'm like, it's not quite the same, is it? Doesn't feel the same, like the same shape as the other. Okay, that definitely makes it feel a lot more like the original. It's got suddenly much sharper area there. Okay, so there we go. Maybe at some point those you know, will out of the blue suddenly get music back, but it's still just loading in the background. Okay, so we still need to raise this up. I don't understand why it's giving me trouble on music. That's kind of troubling. It's troublesome. Okay, so this one needs to actually scale just a tad down. There we go. So we have some nice stalagmites clinging to the ground. And let's see. So now I can kind of fix this terrain piece that was over here. And that will be a matter of using this instead of what I was using before. Or rather in conjunction with what I was using before. Because I still kind of want it... I think that this piece will work. It's just that it needs to be tilted. Well, actually, you know what? If I tilt it that way, I lose my slope. It just needs to be scaled down. And move to the right. So it feeds up into this other piece instead. Maybe... That was originally why I was turning it this way, was to get rid of that. And I thought I had gotten rid of it enough, but apparently I did not. So if I go more this way, I can go less that way, right? No, still need to go both ways. What? Ah. Yeah, so our internet is apparently down. Our download speed is down. And my wife needs to do work, so that's unpleasant. She's worked from home. Okay, so I am probably going to have to... Waterworks audio is laggy. Okay. So, yeah, I think that my internet is definitely having issues. I am going to have to probably go down, reset the internet, go back up. So, if you want to come back in 5 minutes, 10 minutes maybe, actually, because it takes a long time to reboot routers and modems. But yeah, then I'll be back up. But in the meantime, I've got to sort of pause. Okay. So yeah, let's see. Yeah, okay. I'll be right back. Okay, we're back. We're back. Internet's restarted. Everything's fixed. I even adjusted the music, actually, so this should work a little bit better now. There we go. And it shouldn't be too loud now, and it for sure, which I wasn't even sure about if it was or not, but it shouldn't be too loud, and it shouldn't mess anything up. But yeah. So it was our internet had trouble. It was definitely our internet had trouble because it's fixed and working everywhere now in the whole apartment. So. I also, guess who forgot to save the map before walking away? At least I think I did. Unless I was smart enough and don't remember. I don't remember saving the map right before I walked away. So there's little adjustments I made to these. Oh, wait. So that's cone. Okay. Did I save it? Okay, I didn't save it before this part. Because this is not sloped. There we go. So definitely didn't save it for that part. Now I gotta find out what else I didn't save it for. Yeah, well... Okay, so the scaling and stuff, maybe I did save it for that part and I just now felt like it wasn't sloped enough. Not sure. But yes, I'm back. Okay. So, let's see really quick. Yeah. So let me know if any audio is still laggy, Shabooty. So I think that this piece will work, but we gotta figure out how to get it in there. It's about that angle, so I need to make that curve a little more, you know, desirable. Do I need to turn this piece around? Maybe this piece won't work here. Just because I'm looking at the, like, it's always gonna have that lip. Yeah. I need a piece that doesn't have a corner, but otherwise a square. Like one corner needs to be missing, but otherwise needs to be that same terrain piece. Let's see if we can find something like that, but... Okay, I don't know why not every piece is showing up. Gonna have to come up a little higher. Okay, so... Like, this piece is great, except that it doesn't seem like it might not work here. Well, will this piece work here, but not that other one? Do I need to go back to this piece? It's a little more subtle on its edge. Everything is a little more flat. It'll fit alongside that other one that's a little more subtle and flat as well. Otherwise, like these with their sharp edge there is a little bit much, apparently. Let's see. There are big boulders, the flat squares. They're these. See, this one's pretty nice. Its texture isn't all warped and messed up, but this one, this one is. The texture's all... Sorry about that. Okay, so... Yeah, that's that. I don't think this piece is gonna work, but it could. I'm gonna go ahead and place one. I might already have one of these. It's already textured up as well. Get back to that one. Oh, that's it. That was the last one. That was going back to the first one on the list, apparently. But anyway, so we're gonna go ahead and move this out. Move this one back, and we're gonna see if I can get this one to work out, if it's flatter. And maybe if I have to turn it... Oh, it keeps changing its direction. Okay, I'm at a bad angle. Turn it around. Now, it might work like this. Before it had all that extra circle behind it. But if we get this flat edge here, and we align it with the slope, we might be able to get something that does work in this spot and has the fall off. You just have to sort of go with it like this. Let's see. Here we go. Just merge that in there. In which case, with this piece, we might be able to get rid of this. Or move it. This can be moved down here to sort of even out with this piece. Well, this piece is going to have to not have that bump either, I believe. Yeah, that bump up is still there because of this piece. So if we go and tilt it this way, we can get rid of that hill, that little like lip where it was overstepping its bounds. Halo Wars music. Ah, good stuff. So this will create a sort of upper area. It's still kind of doing that, isn't it? Okay, so it still needs to fall off more. Need to make sure that this is actually basically flat over there. I'll look at the textures of that later. For now, I need this to go... needs to slope up here, but then fall off and go down into the slope of everything else. It needs to go up there, but fall off down here. So that is what we're trying to accomplish. These train pieces. Which that doesn't look bad. It's definitely sloping up as it goes up here, and then I can merge it into another piece over here. I do think that these, once again, need to be tilted a little more this way. Sort of make them fall off more. Let's see, we'll do that to make the textures line up. Pretty good right there. Okay. Now let's see how that looks. Much closer to the original. Let's go over there in Master Chief Collection down in the corner. Oh man. It had 6 viewers, but now we're down to 2 again. Let's see how we're doing. Okay, so this slope in general is just not supposed to be this high, it looks like. Oh, did we lose our random, or is it just happening to grab another? Yeah, we lost random. This is a good song, though. It's short, too. So it'll be over fast. And then it'll go to another random song. So this one is too much, it slopes too much that way. And this one is doing the same. have a little flourish in the music there that sounds to me a lot like the Batman the Animated Series, and I love it. Okay, so what I'm seeing here is, I just realized, is that this needs to be a lot more steep as well. Most of the slow music on here is going to be ODST, but it's going to be slow at different parts, and then fast at other parts, and that is because ODST is my favorite Halo. Always has been. Well, not literally. Okay, that's beginning to look a lot more correct. And now we need to put something up here to make this less ugly. I think that this piece right here, it was before I made a lot of adjustments. I need to break it out of that prefab so I can make adjustments to it. And all these pieces that I'm having to break out of prefabs and adjust, I'm going to have to copy to the opposite side of the map. Delete out of the other side's prefabs. Like, that was way too much of a protrusion there. This would work, but the way it was before was not going to work. So I really like this piece as far as how well it falls off. So I think that I'm actually going to go to camera. I didn't ever use the camera angle kind of adjustment for like any kind of creative tool before for 3D. Never used it, and then suddenly I'm finding myself using it with the terrain. So that's surprising to me. I never thought I'd use it. Never ever. So I'm going to switch. Oop, that's not what I meant to do. World, and that way I can rotate it this way. Oof, no, I don't want to rotate it that way. I don't want to use the big chunky side. Actually, you know what I want to do? I want to scale the whole thing down to make this whole thing easier. To make it easier to handle. And that should allow me to turn it around and use the back side without having to worry about it clipping through too far. And then I can just sort of, you know, scale it down vertically and get it to go in there. Okay. This might be where that other one, the sharp piece, sharp edges could come into play. Because the sharp edges would actually clip into that and it would be more regular across the shape. Across the area, you know? We can, let's see. Like this, if we clip it inside those other hills, then we can get it to definitely look a little nice. Actually, where it pokes out, it might not work. So it does limit us to require us to have the whole thing be embedded inside the other hills. So maybe it still is not a very useful piece. I wonder if they made this one before they made the others and learned how to make useful pieces for the tool set. Okay. Like, that isn't bad, but it does have some weird little lumpiness to it. And the point of this piece is to sort of act like a melding of all these other pieces. Sort of merge them all together. Okay, that looks a little better. But it doesn't over here, though. Okay, that's poking out over here. Yeah, okay. We might not be able to use this piece here. Like, if I make it too tall and then sink down into the ground, it doesn't go far enough. If I make it too short and bring it up to where it looks right as far as, you know, the slope is concerned, it ends up poking out over there and over here. So if this piece was just a little more rounded, it would fit my needs more perfectly. I guess it's supposed to be for leading it into a structure, not to be used with terrain, like directly into terrain. This isn't bad, but it doesn't help with the lumpiness, like I said earlier. So maybe we are going back to this one. No, not that. I mean, I could try that one. It honestly might be the best bet. But like I said, I think I have one of those already made up. So let me see. Think about where it is. It's here. Deselect that one, put the rest back into the prefab. I'll duplicate it out. Okay, it's already made up with the correct textures. Let's delete this one. Well, the correct coloring, rather. I don't know that I changed the textures, except for the muddy, you know, grime layer. It ended up working out just fine. Let's see. Okay, so definitely need to be less wide. I need to rotate it this way to hide those the rest of it, so it's not poking out too far over here. I can put rock there to fix that, by the way, but I can also just shrink it a bit more and make it line up a bit better. Like there's gonna be lots of rock down inside there that sort of helps hide some of the terrain that's poking through. This is definitely looking like the better piece to use here already. It does eat my light. Well, actually no. Apparently I needed to adjust the location of that light anyway. That's a not bad spot. Let's stretch it out a little bit this way. There we go. Nope, now we're poking out over there. It's all about, it's like a finagling. It's like a, that's what I was saying in a Reddit post. I was like, it's like a conversation with the terrain, the tools. You're having to like sweet talk them to get them into the right spot. Let's see. We'll go to camera. Make it come off a little bit less there, more here. And then, there we go. Turn it. That's a little better. Maybe these seams are all pretty bad, but we're gonna, now that we have that there, we can adjust things a little bit to make them look a little smoother. Specifically this piece. It really needs to be, I think, scaled, so it'll blend smoother. It'll roll off easier. Could be wrong, but I think that should help. That sound at the end, the hammer from the pump from the from Waterworks, after that music ended, it's just like magically timed. Da-dun, da-dun, da-dun. This is the menagerie. This is the menagerie. No, it's the one, it's Extras Fly By Night from Reach. But it's it was originally the Menagerie in ODST. And that is my favorite song from all of Halo. Easily. I can't help but jam out to it. I think I do need this to be a little flatter. I think I tilted it to try and get it out of the way, but now looking at it, it's like, actually, I messed up the way it goes out into the rest of the terrain. And I think I'm gonna have to put a second one, just like coming out of this one and like smoothing out down here, and leave that one smooth up top. But yeah. And actually I am, oh geez, undo on terrain sometimes completely messes up, and now I have no idea which side is supposed to be the top. Completely wrecked the angle. Okay, well that's unpleasant. I wonder if that has to do with camera Because it only has happened with terrain for me, like that. Well, I mean, lights don't undo at all, so they've kind of had that problem. But terrain specifically has that problem, and I wonder, I really wonder if it's not that, I don't think it's that undo doesn't work for it. It's just every now and then, and it might be because I rotated it by the camera angle, and maybe that it doesn't record camera angle rotations correctly, because those are the only objects I've been rotating by camera. So that would definitely explain it. But yeah. Alright, let's compare this to Master Chief Collection. Ooh, I mean, there we go. And see how that works, how that looks. Ah, yeah, see, I'm doing the exact opposite of what I need to do, apparently. There's a very small sheath there, which means, or like skirt, I suppose, of dirt there. And that is exactly like this kind of thing, which means I need to blend it small and then deal with the crappy lumpiness separately from my blend here. Okay. That's disappointing that I'm having to do all extra stuff, but you know, such is life. It also looks like my hill over here is just awfully large. Like comparing that to there, it's like, oof. Oh, that's right, because I was using the same piece up there to smooth out that area. I don't need to, and I need to focus on, probably need to just focus on one area at a time, instead of having one piece try to do two things, because that's just making it not work in either location. So I think I need, to be honest, I need this piece gone. I am now going to make use of this piece, so I put everything in shadow. That's going to be helpful. That was sarcasm. I don't think it's going to be helpful at all. Let's see. I think I need this to be kind of like that. Sort of like a more of a gradual, but like it also kind of merges with that better. Let's move this so it's not putting me completely in shadow. Oh, right. I've still got shadow from that. It was just two shadows was making it very dark. Okay, and then I can use this also over here because this is actually going to be a better piece for this as well. And this piece is actually going to be really useful throughout everyone's maps for blending seams. It's sort of creating a seam here because I'm not, I'm kind of letting it be a little too thick, I think. And also not quite big enough as far as that is concerned. Wait, hold on. Let me pull it out of the thing and see what I'm doing here. So I need this to be much less thick, but also I want it to be bigger, so I have more stuff to mess with. Hopefully this doesn't clip into the cave. I mean to the ravine in the middle, or the hole, the drop, because that would not be ideal. Let's see. Here we go. Let's see. I hit that button like 3 times before I finally got it right. Okay, obviously it needs to be tilted the right way. It ends up clipping exactly as it was before. I think I was trying to get it to sort of like smooth out an easier transition into, because I scaled it up after scaling the height down. I was hoping that I could get to go farther out here before it disintegrated, before it dissolved into the ground kind of thing. Like I'm trying to realize I'm trying to make it play nice with that hill instead of clipping through it, but I don't really need it to, do I? I can just have it engulf that hill if I needed to. Okay. Let's look at it. It's a little obvious, but at least now it looks like soil that sort of like fell down the hill. Instead of like the... I think maybe I should make it a little more subtle. In which case it will be poking out really far out here. I need to just scale it down. Yep. I think I've given up on the massive scale attempt at making the slope less. Because, yeah, I just don't think that's going to work out that well. Let's see. What do y'all think of ODST, by the way? I know, like I said, this is actually Reach, technically. This is like the sort of outro. Let's see. Here we go. Okay, now this piece is like now starting to be a problem. But it's not too bad for now. I'm going to leave it for now and we'll deal with it later. Did that save? Yeah. Okay. We'll deal with that later once we get more pieces in because it's a subtle thing that I'll probably need to tweak, do some like minor tweaks to. And this terrain is definitely... Just trying to deal with the lumpiness up here now. I guess that does work, and it actually works over here with the textures pretty well. It's a little bit lumpy. That's a place where like I might add some gravel or something like that. This is also another area where it needs to be smoothed out. I might add another terrain piece poking up through there to sort of make that transition a little nicer. But yeah, we're coming along. Okay, so basically, wasn't supposed to be a pun, but we're going with it. Basically, I need to start on the building here, and one corner is on this side of the panel, and one corner is on that side of the panel, roughly, so that they end up pointing off toward that ramp. They collectively end up pointing that direction. Okay, so, like my 3D model here, where it's basically hitting that corner there. And it's not perfect because I'm not going to be able to get that perfect because I'm basing it off of the location of that stalagmite, which I had to figure out where it goes anyway. So it's going to be close to perfect, but not perfect. And the angle of the piece is also not going to be perfect, because I just rotated a piece that made it touch the 2 points. So I'm just trying to keep it roughly the right angle because there's nothing else attaching these bases to the rest of the level. And terrain pieces are imprecise. So all I can do is try to get it to be eyeballed. I mean, like Unique does, he uses the mod tools to make it a little more easy to get that stuff because he can measure it. That's what he was telling me in my chat, and that's pretty cool. But I haven't gotten into the mod tools yet, and also my angle, I don't know that the measuring tools would help too much here. But I am looking down and seeing that it's roughly the same. The precision is pretty close. Like these might need to go up more up the hill anyway. Oh, look at that. I left a rock behind whenever I moved that one. It's base rock. So I can just do this. Sort of help that one look a little more natural. I might actually scale it because I moved the other pieces around in a way that sort of ended up scaling them, and I rotated them, but I kind of lost that, so it's not going to be identical to all the other ones. And I added the tip at the top, so all the other ones are going to be a little bit different than this one particular one, even though that's not what Bungie did. They did not. They copied and pasted. Okay, so Yeah. Okay, cool. So I'm going to need to put these down here. And then have my little ridge thing. I need to start moving. Oh, no. No. Good thing I just saved. Wow. Forgot that was a prefab. Just grabbed it and dragged. That's no good. Okay, I just saved. So I'm going to just quit and come back in for a second. Oh, man. Man, I didn't get to show Shabuti the sound effect, I don't think, for their, whenever people join the stream, by clicking on their button. I did for It's Simpa, but not for Shabuti. I'm surprised Aaron's not in here, unless he is and just being, quiet. Mm-hmm. This one sounds a lot like Metroid Prime. The snow area, the snow region of Metroid Prime. And, like a lot like it. Obviously, I can't play that on stream, but if you're interested, just look up the snow regions for Metroid Prime 1, 2, and 3. One of them sounds like that, and I believe it's 1, but it could be 2. I don't think it's 3, but again, I could be wrong, because I don't recall which one I'm thinking of. But definitely know one of them sounds like that. That da 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 da. There's something similar to that. Okay. Do we need to get started on the actual structure so we can put the terrain around it? Because obviously I can't lead the terrain into it very well. And I need to be able to use this as a height because I believe... Actually, you know what I'm going to do? In this 3D model? I'm going to switch to this. I'm going to take these polygons here. I'm going to shift D to duplicate. I'm just going to hit escape so I don't end up moving it at all. I'm going to switch. See, I was in view mode over here too because of the how useful it's been over there. And I'm going to grab this edge here and I'm going to extrude it. And I'm going to confine it to... I'll confine it to Y and then I'll move it on the X to be over there. And I'm going to see how high it is compared to how high this bridge is. Perfect Z axis, you know, exactly the same as Z axis. And, oh, okay, so it comes to the top of the railing. Pretty, almost precisely. Wow. So on this building, this top railing here, let's go back to the 3D model, I mean the polygon selection. Up here, this railing that you can see with the orange is exactly the same height as the bridge that comes over. So all we gotta do is line that up with the bridge and drag it over here and then use it as our tell. You know, we can make like a little block as a little measuring tool and know exactly what's going on. Okay, cool. So we're gonna do that. I'm gonna duplicate this block and I'm just gonna use it as a measuring tool. Turn on snapping. We're gonna go in a little closer and turn on our little thing here. Okay. Snap to there. Now we're the exact height of the bridge. We're gonna be actually the exact height of the bridge, not, you know, damn near perfect. We're gonna be actually perfect. So a little different from what Bungie's did, but oof, I need to flip it over. Let's see, 45 degrees, and down into the ground, and then I can flip it over again. Oh boy, I'm on camera still. Objects. Okay. I mean, I realize that once I flip it all the way around, it doesn't matter which angle I'm at, but still. Okay, so this is our height. This right here. So all we've got to do is make our base. The railing is that tall. Alright. Grab the linked objects, and we can delete this polygon section. Bases. Should, yeah, that should leave polygon. Should also delete the vertices. I don't know why, for some reason, felt like I couldn't remember if it did or not. Okay, so the point is that we now know our height, and we know roughly what we're gonna do for our location, because we can line up this doorway here with our, you know, stalagmites and the bridge, and see exactly like that. Ooh, our stalagmites need to move this way, a little closer to the bridge. I actually don't recall having checked that in Master Chief Collection. Whenever I looked at it, I didn't come over here and look at this. So, oh right, no, I did line it up with that. I lined it up to the way that the hills were on this, and the way the slope was there, and stuff like that, and got it just right. So yes, that should be accurate to where they're supposed to be. Which is a little weird, because that means the base would have to be, like the door would have to be over there. That feels off, but it might not be, because the bases are alarmingly far over from what I remember them being. Like, I keep on looking, like, I always think of the bases as being more centered, but they are really not. Like, not at all. Like, if you look in that lower right corner, you can see, like, they are... Oh, let me turn off my roof. Oh, where's the roof? Rooftop. There we go. Like, they're really not centered at all. The bridge comes in at, like, this angle. You can't even see my mouse because it's so small. It comes in at one angle, and then the base is way off to the side. And I never, like, when you're in the map, it doesn't feel like it's that far off, and I think that's because the bridge slopes down that behind the cliff, and so you can't really tell. But it's like an illusion that, like, it feels way different than it actually is. So from up here, so the bridge would continue, like the hill, the slope goes that way, off toward where that is turning around, and actually that might need to be adjusted. But anyway, the point is that the base should be off over here. So yeah, I guess this is accurate. Lining this up, the door should be right there. I guess that makes sense. I'm looking at that stalagmite, and it's like it's the big one of the three over there, and I feel like it's the door, but it's not the door. Like, the lighting from the door is hitting it, and I feel like that's the door, but the door is actually quite far, you know, further back. So that's kind of why I was feeling like it was off, I think, is that an illusion of the lighting over there. But anyway, the point is, we'll get to the actual building. Let's do that. Go into the 3D model, and we are going to go ahead and select some polygons over there, and hit delete on the period on the numpad to get the camera angle over to the building. So a lot of these pieces, thankfully, are copy-paste from other areas of the map, so that I can build it a little bit quicker. Some of them are not, though. So for example, I can grab this doorway, or maybe even this doorway, since it'll be locked, but it won't be part of a prefab. Well, no, maybe I will just grab the one over here. It's got the what's happening to my lights? Oh, right, it's doing that thing. You gotta build out the map once, and then it fixes all of the problems. Where am I? Here we go. Yeah, now the light's in the right spot. Okay, so these are two different prefabs. That's not going to be super helpful. Oh, that's funny. This is 3 different prefabs. Okay. Let's just go ahead and, yeah, we're going to go ahead and get that one out. Then we're going to select this one. Get that. Did I just merge two prefabs instead of doing what I thought I did? Shoot. Okay, well, I don't know if I can do that, because that's going to, well, I think I've got to leave those ungrouped because I don't want to create a prefab that's more than 150 blocks in it, or like objects in it, because I don't want to break the entire map. So I have to leave them on prefab now, and that's going to be frustrating because now I don't know what folder they're in or anything like that. Let's see. Before I go looking at folders, you got to save the map, because if you go into folders, it can actually break. It can crash the game. At least it does for me sometimes. Cave roof. Let's see. Central structure. Strut A, strut B. Feature plans. Pump shroud. Okay. Tunnel bridge A, and then a bunch of rocks I've placed. Yeah, I didn't select a folder. Oh, geez. Yep, it grabbed all of them and put them outside of any other folders. Really? That's frustrating. Okay, so also I think I've got both sides in tunnel bridge A. I'll have to sort all this out later off stream probably, because that's going to be a whole thing. But basically, I think I'm going to, let's see, hold on. I had a new folder before it crashed, and it appears to have disappeared. Yeah, it looks like it disappeared. I'm going to go to layout. I'm going to say create empty subfolder. It was, let's see. Base segment A, I believe, is what I had named it. There we go. Set as working folder. Now any new pieces I create will be in there. I wonder if it's going to move these objects in there whenever I ungroup, because these might be considered like new objects that it created out of a prefab. Let's regroup and then see if they're all in that folder now. No, they're not. Good. Very good. So I'm going to go ahead and select all these. So we have one of these at the doorway, but it's not... I don't think it has a light on the inside. So we're going to not really need that, but we're going to prefab it out anyway and delete it once we get over there, because I don't remember for sure. Rather than looking it up first, I'd rather just select and delete. It'd be faster. Oh, hey, we've duplicated the tunnel already. What do you plan on making next? Oh, okay, so it's two questions. Let's see, because I missed them whenever they were asked. I have duplicated the tunnel already, in fact, and I'm just holding this so it doesn't get screwed up. And what I plan on making next is I have a plan for a vertical... Oh, lost viewers. Is that them? Did they just both ask questions and then and then duck out before I could answer them? Ah, geez. Well, anyway, the next map I plan on making is I have an idea for a vertical map, like with a cave, or not a cave, with a cliff. That first-person shooters, you know, obviously. Oh, you're still here. Cool. Oh, speaking of you still being here, I think you're the one who I haven't clicked the... Whenever you followed me yesterday, I didn't have this set up, but now I've got it set up, so... That's just going to happen anytime someone follows. Anyway, so the point is that, yeah, if you... my plan is to go ahead and... what was I saying? A vertical map. That's going to be a cliff, and most first-person shooters, obviously everything's horizontal all the time, and that's why it's sort of like a challenge to myself to make it a vertical map, because that would be fun. Frankly, that would be fun. But more importantly, I think that the map is going to... I have ways of making that work, which it's like experimental, I guess, but there are ways of making it work, in my opinion, that no one has really done to, like, I'm sure people have done in first-person shooters I've never played, but I haven't gotten to play any that did it. Boarding action almost does it, but you lose yourself very quickly in boarding action. Like which floor you're on is like it just disappears. You know what I mean? So like, man, if that is actually where the door goes, that is really insane. But like, it's really easy to lose where you are in boarding action. It's a little different. It's a little farther to the left. And I have techniques of making that not happen. And I do plan on making boarding action eventually myself. But this is going to be like an artistic sort of experimental way of making one of those and seeing if I can make it really feel good. And the way I'm going to do it is I'm going to solve it by having Aaron, actually, the guy who does the trees. He was, you remember whenever, I don't know if you saw whenever he made the Sakura tree. He had tried to make a Sakura tree and he'd given up because he couldn't get the right color. And then I requested he make one. He was like, okay, I'll give it another shot. So the reason that he released that at all was because he figured out that he figured out a way to do it, and based on the fact that I'd requested it. So, and the reason I'd requested it was for this map that I'm planning, and that is that I'm going to basically have Sakura trees be up at the top of the cliff. Whoa, that's not what I want. Sakura trees to be up at the top of the cliff, or something akin to Sakura trees, kind of like alien Sakura trees kind of thing, because it's not going to be on Earth. Unless I make it like a Tenrai one, but I think I'm going to probably just keep it to a... I'm going to probably make it like a Forerunner planet or something to that effect, because I like the idea. I like the aesthetic of the Forerunners in Infinite. But anyway, the point is that these trees are going to be shedding their petals down off the side of the cliff. And by having this sort of stream of these petals, which would be like a red or kind of pink, and then having a river sort of flowing off the, with a waterfall coming off, which will be kind of a blue. Not using that as like a red base, blue base sort of thing, but just allowing you to sort of use the image, like the visual of, actually this is going to be lined up with the back piece, I think, because that's like right down, yeah. The back side of this. Basically having this red and this blue out off the side of the cliff will give you this sort of clue as to where you are three-dimensionally in the map at any given point in time. And in theory, this should make it to where you don't get lost. Despite the fact that you're not able to see the horizon of the map, so to speak. You told me about it, just wasn't sure if that idea was still kicking. Yes, I do think that's going to be the next one still. Oh, you know what? I forgot about the contest. No, you're right. I was actually considering changing plans because of that contest with the 2v2 maps. No, you're right. Geez. I can't believe I forgot about that. But yeah, because I forgot about that. The 2v2 maps are like you could potentially win $5,000 if you make that. So I'm still lost on how you're going to get the leaves moving. I was going to do particle effects. There's one in particular that has like flat like things, and I was going to put them in like a stream going out. I'm going to figure that out whenever I get there, I'm sure. But that's the image I have in my head, so maybe it won't work. But I'm pretty sure I can figure something out. Mostly, I know there's a particle effect that in particular people were using for leaves in the leaked build. Back whenever they were doing the leaked build, it was... I saw someone do a sort of like leaves falling effect with one of them. I'd have to play around with it to really know for sure, but I don't know the exact width of this area, and I'm just sort of like eyeballing it, and I realize I could just go into MCC and get inside the doorway. Let's see if I can get in here and see. That's a cool shape of light. If that was intentional, then that would be really cool to be able to put that on places. Let's see. Okay, so the doorway actually gets wider on the inside, which means it's just flat, and I did not know that until 2 seconds ago. I forgot about that from playing the map, that you can hide behind here. There are a lot of things like this that are that make it to where people with shotguns just stay in the base and do nothing, or various close quarters combat weapons. Let's see, so this doorway is only so wide. It's wider than the one that I had originally. Or wider than it was originally, which is why I'm making it wider. But I don't know the exact width of it. But yeah, I forgot what we were saying because I started looking at the map. Let's see. I think I do need to make this extra wide on the floor because it needs to come out around it. But I'm going to use it to sort of gauge the width of this thing first. So, because this floor texture is identical to the actual floor texture in here. They literally copied it. Okay. So that idea is still kicking around. I haven't tested the ability to make the petals like you're saying, but I saw someone doing it before, where they sort of put leaves on the ground and they made it look like leaves falling. And if I just set the color right, whoop, oh jeez. Forgot to turn off magnets for a second there. Actually, I do want it to magnet to an extent. I guess that works. And then I'll drag it in. I do want it to be centered. Okay, so basically, yeah. I was thinking about doing a terrain-heavy 2v2 map. I feel like 90% of the maps are going to be all blocks. Yeah, no, I agree too. I don't like all block maps. I don't even like Aquarius and all that. Like, they're okay. I enjoy them, but they're only so much, you know. I much prefer terrain-heavy maps because, yeah, I mean that's one of the reasons why I also it's one of the many reasons why I end up preferring big team battle is not just the big team battle element. Technically, it's because the maps feel cooler to me. I don't like spending my time in Aquarius all day. Okay, so this is going to be my width here. And, you know, streets is, I think it's called streets, whatever they call them. The one that's like, the nighttime, like, one of the arcades and stuff, I forget what it's called. It's cool, I love it, but I also don't love it because it feels very blocky. But no, I agree. I like there to be some grass. I like there to be some grass, some plants. Okay, so this actually looks like the correct width for this doorway. And if I could find something that is scaled a little more perfectly, then that would be nice. I could go off the width of the warthog to really study this and make sure, because actually I did that before with like you can't get a warthog in there, for example. I did that with the central structure at one point. The beginning of building these structures is always the most off-scale part, and trying to get it to be scaled is the hardest part. But yeah, so I think that this is... I basically can't get a ghost, can't get a warthog in, and so I need to try and... I suppose I could try and get a warthog or a ghost in, but I don't have my terrain lined up to do that. So yeah, and I don't even know if this is the right height yet. This is all early. This is like at the very beginning of the stream. Whenever I had to start from the very beginning, it was like lining up the Jesus, who's calling me? Seattle, Washington. Hello. My brother moved to Seattle, and I have not spoken to him in years because I don't speak to him. And so I was a little bit thrown, you know, aback by that. Oh, that's not what I wanted to do. Oh no, that's not what I want to do either. There we go. Okay, so undo works on lights whenever you're using the mouse and keyboard, but it doesn't whenever you're in the console. Like whenever you're using console controls. I wonder if that's only on PC, or if it works on console with controller. Like if you're using controller, it just doesn't work properly. I definitely should move over here. This variant of the song, I believe, I haven't actually checked it I mean, I can go check it real quick, but I believe this is the variant of this song. Nothing works on console. Yeah, right? I think they were really trying to get PC working for Forge and didn't really focus on console just because they probably knew that most forgers, most creators for Forge are probably going to go to PC just to get the tools to be a little easier to use anyway, because mouse and keyboard is just easier tools. At least I assume that's what they were doing. But also because they're trying to use these, like, you know, these directional things. That's a PC tool kind of thing. And so it kind of, you know, the fact that it worked, that they put it on console at all is a little weird. So one thing I just realized is this little light, I think, is smaller than the lights are everywhere else on the map. I could be wrong, and it could just be that my pylon is not right in on my base. I know it looks like it needs to be a little wider, but is that right? Oh, here. I'll stand on the ground here, look up at it, and we'll see. Did I just, like, by the way, in the middle of saying something, like, forget what I was saying? Yeah, no, this should have to require me to look up to be able to see. So yeah, this pylon is definitely too small. It's too short and too thin. Which there are thinner ones and thicker ones. If I had grabbed it from the central structure, it would actually be taller already. But because I grabbed it from the side cave, the cave on the side, it's a little too short. Okay, so that feels like whenever you go, like you're standing here, you've got to, when you're looking straight at it, you can just barely sort of, if you're looking straight ahead like this, it goes up to about that height. Yeah, okay, cool. And of course, you can jump on top of it, which is important to retain. Now my ceiling is too low because I have it as a tunnel instead of a doorway. I'd have to. Yeah. I was gonna say that this music, if you're hearing it and being like, "What is this version?" It's from Halo Legends instead of from any of the games. The Halo Legends soundtrack has this variant, and it's like a remake of the original Halo 1 stuff. Okay, so you can keep going. So my doorway is too short, which I also knew. I knew that this doorway was going to be too short. It was just going to be the right shape so I could get it all fixed up. But I need to make this taller. 343 should take the top 10 2v2 maps from that contest and make a good doubles playlist. That should be a part of it. Top 10 get thrown into, well, for some people. That's worth more than the money. That's exactly true. Like, I agree, because no, I mean, I think it'd be worth more than the money for everybody. And the reason being is because let me raise the roof first, which is why we got the music going, because we got to raise the roof. I think that people are going to be, it's going to be worth more, even for the people who the money would be worth more than, like where the money would be worth more. It still is like, getting your name out there would get you potentially more money in the future. You know what I mean? Like, if people like Unique and you know, what do you call it? Gosh, there's a bunch of good creatives, but like Unique has a following now, and Duquesne has one, and I'm trying to think of there was another one I was trying to think of. That's the big one, like a really big one. He's got a lot of followers. What do you call it? Infinite Forges, maybe was the one I'm trying to think of. But anyway, I think it's Infinite Forges I'm thinking of, that basically got super big, has like thousands of people on like YouTube and stuff, like 10,000 people or more on YouTube already, or something like that. Anyway, the point is that for them, I mean, every single time that they get their name out there a little bit more, they get more followers, and same for all the rest of us. And getting followers is not literally getting money or anything like that, but like Unique is just about to get monetized on YouTube, and that means that, you know, he doesn't need to worry about Patreon, like I think I was talking about last stream, where it would be useful. Oh right, it's supposed to be at that height. And it used to line up with the outer wall. Right. Okay, now I've forgotten how this is supposed to measure, but actually this is going to go straight up now. It's going to go straight up and go past it into the ceiling. So, like up to the top area. And in fact, I'm probably going to replace this with triangles instead of this angle. I don't know, I'm just using this as a starting point. But yeah, I don't know. I agree with you. Yeah, the money is definitely not going to be the biggest thing. The money is the reason that I'll be like, yeah, no, I can afford to work on this for real. To like otherwise I wouldn't be probably going on. I would wait for a big team battle competition, because that's gonna be my main forging. Like I like all the other modes, but I don't love them. I love big team battle. Like LAN parties are for me the identity of Halo. You know, a lot of people are like, there was actually something that's happening on Twitter where someone was talking about like how, oh, Halo's lost its identity. I'm like, no, it hasn't. They're bigger battles than ever before. Big team battle is Halo's identity. LAN parties, 16 players. Everyone was always just playing their 4v4s to train, or the 2v2s on local, you know, play on one console to prepare, so that whenever they get to their LAN parties, they're ready to go. They're trained. They're sort of like built up a skill base. So I don't believe that it has lost its identity in the slightest, and visually it certainly has gone back to having its identity. So yeah, that nonsense on Twitter was just, yeah, laughable to me. But anyway, the point is that I think it's regaining its identity, if anything. It's discovering. I think I'm just going to copy this one. I was looking for an angle, in case anyone was wondering. I wanted to make I wanted it to be a right angle, so I had to go in here and grab. I think it's this one. Put it into this one. I'll make it tiny and a right angle. But yeah, I think that yeah, getting people to want to like getting your name out there originally, and then afterward people are going to download your maps in the future, and you know, you're kind of establishing yourself. It's really cool. I mean, I think every single forger out there has the dream, whether they're doing it streaming like me and a couple others, or like Unique, or they're doing or they're trying to just make maps and get big on the file share, and like, you know, like that. It's everyone has the dream of, oh man, what if I could make actual Halo maps? Like what if 343 hired me? You know what I mean? So I do think that, yeah, getting your name out there for sure is one of the main things, or the main thing. That's why I started with Containment. I really wanted to get it in people's hands because of the lack of big team battle content. I sent it out in a really rough state. I'm going to spend the next week or two refining it and getting it where it deserves to be. Nice. Yeah, see, I can imagine that would be a cool way, a good way of doing it. The reason I'm doing it this way is that I, like where I'm like perfecting it the first time, with all this stuff, is that I don't want to have to go back through all of these literally over 1,000 objects already for sure, and redo all of their texture. If I had to set all of this rust texture this many times, even if I can just select a bunch of different blocks at once and do it all at one time, doesn't matter. The having to do that would kill my drive to work, because that's just how my brain works. I would not want to continue doing it. It would destroy my focus. And then basically, aside from that though, it's like, now you can see that this is actually not wide enough. Well, it's probably too wide now. I went a little too far, but yeah. But aside from that, it's like, yeah, I have to see the progress as I go to stay motivated, so to speak. or else I will jump from project to project. If I have an unfinished project or a project that doesn't look like it's getting finished rapidly, then I'll end up, you know, losing focus very quickly, and that won't be ideal. That's looking close. Obviously, I haven't done these parts yet. And actually, the width of this needs to be brought up before I scale these pieces. Oh, maybe I will. Maybe I'll scale it up first. The slope is correct, so I just need to scale it up this way. Oh, I'm not. That's what it is. There we go. If you republish, it kind of breaks the previous version, so you almost want to get it out in a good state because everyone holding your previous bookmark has busted textures. Oh, is that what that... Ah, I heard about the bug of the textures, and I never knew what was actually causing it. I'm glad that people have figured it out, because that is really good to know. So I'm kind of avoiding a bug by accident, just by the way that I have to work. That's good to know, though. That's really good to know. Okay, I'm gonna flip it around and scale it up this direction, so I don't have to clip through it. And I think we're looking at that is very likely the way it should be. Okay, cool. Is that centered? I thought it was centered, and now I'm not so sure. Is that just a lighting, an illusion of the lighting? No, it's definitely not centered. Okay. Well, we can fix that. That's literally all it probably takes. And then I will snap this one and duplicate it, and we'll figure out if I need to center it even more. Okay, does that look right, or is that too wide? Too chunky. That means too wide. Yeah, now it's snapping to that. Okay, anyway. I've seen people upload old versions of my... Oh, wait. Yeah, I did miss one. A different one. Okay. I see people uploading old versions of my alley rats to YouTube, and they all have defaulted textures and colors. It's supposed to have a dark Mombasa night theme, but the default makes it bright silver. Nothing like it's supposed to look like. Yeah, that sounds like it would definitely ruin an aesthetic, so I'm glad that you mentioned it. Is it basically like if you already have your textures set up, like I'm doing now, and then I go and change them in the future, will the textures of this map, like if I decide to change these, it's only if you bookmark it, right? You said? Okay, yeah, so if it's bookmarked previously and then you update it, then it breaks the textures for those people because for some reason. Okay, so then what I'm wondering is if I have all the textures set up here and then I change them in the future, which I don't think I'm probably gonna have to because that's why I'm setting them up now. But if I did, would that mean that they would default to these textures, or would they default, or would it break them completely and make them go straight back to default textures of those objects? That's my question. Like, how much does it break them? How far does it go? I'm gonna go from this side where I can kind of see better. Like how I can see that it's not centered still. There we go. That is much better. Okay. But yeah, that's my question. And you've got obviously there's going to be delay, so I'm just saying if you can, if you know the answer, then that would be helpful. So here's another question about this though. Up here we have we have this texture floor and then this texture wall. And what I'm wondering is, should I put a block, one of the generic block pieces that allows you to have a different texture on each side, or should I have those on the bridge so it'd be easy to just copy them over here, and then scale them? Or should I just place 2 different pieces, one for the wall and one for... Anyway, I never touched my streets in the map after originally texturing. Then and I've seen them with UNSC ventilation or dark tarp on people's videos. Oh, weird. Wait, so basically the streets are getting a texture that you never applied to them as well. So it's literally just breaking them. And it has nothing to do with there's not a specific thing that you can go off of to tell you how it's breaking, because that would mean that you would know how it's breaking. Yeah, no, that's really weird. I think your yes is to the question it just asked. So it just completely breaks them. It doesn't, yeah, there's no rhyme or reason to it. It doesn't become like a previous map. It just breaks them. Okay. So whenever I publish this map, it has to be the published version. It has to be the finished version. Gotcha. Or else I have to wait until 343 fixes that bug. Which may be soon. Or it could be next year. No telling. Excuse me. I have had very bad sleep since I started streaming. Okay, so I think the question I was asking will need to be a yeah, I think I will go ahead and grab the one that has the metal textures around the outside, because that will save me on budget and potentially save my players on processing power. So I want to grab literally any of these as one. I want to break it out of its prefab, deselect that piece, and put it back in. This piece here is that texture on top and metal on the bottom, so I can duplicate it and drag it over here and use it all over here. Now, I don't usually use these pieces because of the way they scale, and they're so infuriating. But I will make an exception. Go down to 5. There we go. I think that's right. And this is just how the building is angled right now. I might re-angle the whole building later once I have the width of it correct. See, I republished with minor spawn tweaks, never even touched the map, and it broke the previous version's textures. Oh, jeez. So did you just change which one was published? Because maybe... Whoa. Saving just messed up my network. Look at that in the top right corner there. It is spazzing out with the milliseconds. That's going to affect my building. Having more internet problems, but I mean, I'm getting close to the end of the stream, so I'll just keep going until I sign off rather than rebooting the server again. I mean, my network again. Okay, so I do need to turn this... Oh, I have it... This isn't the kind of block I thought I had. Ah, jeez. Well, that's not helpful. Okay, apparently I just... Oh, that's right. I only needed the metal texture on the bottom because the railings were going to do the sides, so I didn't need to replace the side textures. So all I did was used the same kind of block I've been using, but I went ahead and changed the second swatch. Okay. Well, it's one of these blocks. Okay, so... I guess I'll have to make one. Okay, so now I need to make one of those blocks and set up its textures. So the reason I don't like them is because they scale weird, and you're gonna see, if you don't know what I'm talking about, you're gonna see real soon. So primitives, blocks, primitive block. Let's go by 45 degrees and then by 5. Wait, that's 15. Oh wait, 15 is right because I accidentally went backwards by 5. So that will line up perfectly. Okay. So scaling is like this. It goes out both directions. Yay! Wonderful. Gonna be great for precision scaling. So hard to do. Okay, so just gonna delete this one and slap that down there. Which means to make the the width of the entire base is going to be a pain in the butt. But let's put that there and start finding textures. Why is it not snapping to where I want it to be? Okay, guys, come on. Come on, snapping tool. You can do it. You can do it. Oh, well. Okay, so I think what I'm going to do is scale it down and do it. Okay. Now I go over here, swatches, and change them to, okay, one swatch needs to be that floor, which is Forerunner panel C. Boom. Okay, and then the next one needs to be Forerunner metal. Simple. The third one needs to be Forerunner metal simple as well. And then I need my grime layer to not be grime, but be metal, gold metal. No, farther. So this was supposed to look kind of like rust, but I love that it uses gold metal. that I have to use gold metal to do it, because it's like, yeah, even Forerunner structures even rust out, you know, in a valuable way. Like they even rust gold, and I love that. So let's see. I'm just trying to let you know to make sure you have everything exactly as you want to before publishing. Not everyone plays everything as they bookmark. YouTubers will bookmark 50 maps and have a play date a week later. I've already republished 15 times since the version they have. Yeah, exactly. I will say this. There may be a way to fix it, a workaround. Have you tried unpublishing? Straight up removing it from being published, which might clear their bookmark of your map. And then you can republish, and then they'll have to rebookmark it, so suddenly your map will be removed from everyone's bookmarks, and they might not remember to even go get it again, which could mean your map, I don't know if this will work. I mean, your map may stay in their bookmarks just because they have it bookmarked, and it might come back, you know what I mean? Like, there's no telling. But if it works, then you might be able to get it to, you know, to fix it. It might be a workaround, not a fix. Not a repair, but a workaround. Oh, wow. Rather than resetting this... So every other light in this entire map, I believe it's a glitch. They're supposed to have the newest version. Unique was talking about it. Yeah, exactly. They are supposed to have the newest version. I'm just saying that, like, it just seems like there may be a workaround in the meantime if you wanted to solve it. But I don't know if that would be a bad thing. Because you might... I think I used to try to jump up that thing every single time I came in this room. Even though it's, like, pretty sure impossible. Those crates are not high enough. Anyway, this light is poking out down. I don't know if you're seeing that. If you're able to see that in the on the small screen. This one's poking out of the wall, which is fine. It looks a little more normal. This one looks weird. It's not recessed at all. But I guess I'll do it. I'm going to do it like they did it. Let's see. But yeah, so I don't know if it would be worth it to lose potentially your entire player base on your map to do this, but it might be a workaround if you wanted to solve it that badly. Which I don't think you do. I don't think you care that much, based on the way you're talking about it. I think you're just waiting for the fix, because obviously 343 has to fix it eventually. Because it's a bug. Okay, so anyway, we're going to go ahead and grab this one. Oh, I need to see how thick this needs to be. It's pretty darn thick. Sometimes I have plasma so I can see the wall. Bathe the wall in plasma, light it up. So I need to be looking at it like this, which is a little unpleasant, but there we go. I wouldn't want to unpublish and take away the reviews and plays, even though my containment is rough. I would hate to lose the 1K plays on it when I republish. Yeah, exactly. I don't know if reviews are going to be lost since, so this is how I see it. You unpublish it, the reviews may be saved to the map, so they may remain in the map. The bookmarks, though, are in the player's file. Who's bookmarked your map, who has bookmarked your map is probably not stored in your map, but all of the maps that you choose to bookmark are probably stored on your player profile. So if you unpublish, you may not lose your ratings, you won't probably lose your stats for number of plays, and but you may clear out your map from everyone's bookmarks. But it may not even do that. You may stay in their bookmarks, but they can't play your map anymore. And then you republish, and you're still in their bookmarks, and it's still broken. So it's possible that it wouldn't work at all. That it wouldn't be a workaround at all, and nothing would be solved. I think I'm going to look at it from this side so I can actually see how wide it is without having to look up at it. Oh, right. It's super thin. This thing starts there, and... Jeez. Okay, so this is 3 different pieces. Because this is wide, super wide. Oh, it's a wall. I'm dumb. Okay, I see now. Okay. I was doing that wrong. Very wrong. Looks like my son has woken up. Gonna need to go soon. So I need to bring this back to the thickness of... Actually, I never actually made this the right thickness. Let me see how this thickness actually looks. Okay. Jeez. Okay, so if I stand, I'm going to put my back up against the light, and then that means I need to come over here and put my back against the light. Let's see how that looks. It looks to be just a tad wide here, or maybe perfect, one or the other. I think it might be right. Yeah, no, but I agree. Getting rid of your reviews and all that stuff would be not worth it. Not worth the change. Jeez, what is happening with... I don't think it'd be worth the workaround to do that. Oh, line up here. I can work with this bug. That's another thing is there's so many little bugs here and there that they do need to fix. So I imagine they're working very quickly on a repair, like an upgrade for it, because it's in beta. They're still doing it, so I imagine that'll probably come out relatively soon. But I'm just guessing. You play Gears at all? I was going to try and take some inspiration from Gears for a good 2v2 map. I have played Gears before, but I didn't. I haven't played in a long time. I'll put it to you that way. I believe that. I mean, I didn't really play online multiplayer all that much at all. But when I did play Gears of War, it was Gears of War 1 and 2. Last time I did play a little bit of 5 though with my wife after we got the Games Pass this year. But nothing to say. None of the multiplayer. So I think that's not what you're wanting. Not what you're wanting to hear. But yeah, I did play the multiplayer on Gears of War 1, like the versus multiplayer. I think there was versus multiplayer on 1. I don't think they ignored that feature. So yeah, my son is definitely over there crying because I think my wife is getting him food, but I can go. I'm probably gonna need to go because she's got to get back to work. So yeah, I think it's about the end of the stream for today. But I will wait for you to reply about the Gears of War thing if you want to say anything about it, because yeah, no, I agree. It's they have good maps. They have really good maps, especially their aesthetic. Gears of War and I was gonna say Killzone. Killzone's aesthetic is pretty good. It's especially good for what do you call it? Like the characters. The character aesthetic is really strong in Killzone, but it's not. But the maps, I don't remember any of them. So, personally, and I didn't play a lot of that either, multiplayer. So that'll do it. That'll make me not remember it for sure. Yeah. All right. Yep. I gotta go. I gotta go take care of my son and make sure he's got food. So, okay, the flow of the gears is slower, making for really good 2v2 in FPS games. That's true. Yeah, I have some ideas for mine. I don't know. What are the requirements? I'll have to look that up. I'll look up the requirements. I have some weird ideas that may not fit their requirements, because I like scripting, and I'm gonna mess around with some stuff like custom equipment or something like that, probably. But if that's allowed with the rules, but I don't know if it is or not. So we'll see. But yeah, so I gotta go. I gotta feed my son and everything, and I'll catch you guys next time. Oh yeah, see you next time, Will. Thanks. I'll catch you later.